How do you tell if you are self-sabotaging or being in flow? As an entrepreneur, as a creative, as a neurodivergent witch, I kind of have two different states that I exist in for the most part. Either I'm kind of self-sabotaging or I'm in flow with what I need. Now, what do those two different things look like? For me, self sabotage can take a lot of different forms. Sometimes it is the negative voice in my head. Sometimes it means sitting down and doom scrolling when really what I want to be doing is working on a painting. Sometimes for me, it's having a very, very simple email that I know exactly how to respond to, and it will just sit there in my inbox for days unresponded. And knowing that taking that small action might make an impact in my business, but I can't bring myself to do it. After I finally actually do it, a lot of times the small task can look like actually just taking 5 minutes. And I feel so much better. It takes way less energy and effort than I thought it would. But before I do the task, when I'm in this moment of like freeze, my nervous system is often in flight or fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. When I'm in these moments of self sabotage, I just can't bring myself to do the activity or the thing that I need. Sometimes it looks like endlessly, mindlessly staring at my phone when what I really need is rest and to just unwind and disconnect for a bit. On the other hand, when I can take the time to be in the state of what I call flow, it mentally feels a lot easier. It's a lot less exhausting. It's more reactive. I think that's a good way to describe it, but not in a positive way. It's like just flowing with the universe, flowing with my intuition. It's sometimes not pausing to overthink the task before I do it. When I'm in my anxiety kind of headspace and my exhaustion, I might sit there for 20 minutes trying to build up the effort and the energy to go wash the dishes. Whereas when I let myself be in flow, I have the idea popping in my head to go do the dishes, and before I can even really register taking too much time to overthink it and procrastinate and eventually not even do it, I get up, I put my headphones on, I put on, say, a good song that I really like to dance to and go do the action before I have the time to actually think about procrastinating. As a neurodivergent person, and also somebody who has undiagnosed chronic illnesses, I spend a lot of my time wanting to do things and not having the energy or the effort available to do it. And yet, taking the time to be in what I like to call my flow state doesn't mean being productive to the point of constantly working. It means being in a headspace and a mindset and, a frame of reference, and being able to listen to what it is that my body needs. Sometimes it is rest. Sometimes it is to disconnect. Sometimes it might be to go have a bath for 2 hours if I have the time for it. And sometimes it's to go do art. The practice of being in flow state wasn't something that came naturally to me. It was not something that came easy to me. It is almost like a muscle I've had to build up over the years. The more I practice being in tune with my intuition and listening to what is calling me or the ideas that pop into my head, the easier it is to act on those impulses that lead me to where I want to go. Filming this video is a really good example of that. Actually, most of the videos I film that I feel really good about are good examples for that. The idea pops into my head, and before I really take too much time to second guess myself and talk myself out of doing it right now, which usually means doing it never, I sat down and filmed the video. It's been a super, super long day for me. We had to go into town, which is always a really big effort because we live an hour's walk outside of town, and currently we're on 3 months of no car. So fun times. But it was exciting. I got to go mail my first art sale. Woo, celebrating that today. But my plan had been to take the evening off and rest and just chill for the evening. But I was like, hey, this is like a really good idea that popped into my head. Let me go make a video about this because all the information's there. And most of my video things are pretty easy to set up. I have this nice bright lamp in my art studio. My phone is there. My mics are always charged, and I film everything on my camera. So I was like, I can do this. This is easy. And so before I had the time to second guess and talk myself out of it, I just let the flow of the energy and the momentum that was there and surprising me to take a hold and hopefully make a pretty good video. Now, do I feel a little awkward and rambly right now? Absolutely. And I think the fact that I don't edit these videos can sometimes contribute to that, because if I did, I'd be able to cut some of these things out, but I don't. But I always find the videos where I might feel a little rambly, when I go back and listen after the fact, it does tend to be a lot better than I thought it was. So, at least we got that. So, for you watching, how do you figure out what flow feels like and what kind of self sabotage actions feel like? Well, something you can do is take that moment to ask your intuition if the idea that's popping into your head, if it is coming from a place of anxiety or just coming from a place of, this feels like a good idea, even if I don't know where it's going to lead me. I've made videos about how to tell if something is your anxiety or your intuition, which would be great as an adjacent to this. But if you can tell something is your intuition, then go with it. Sometimes, depending on the situation or the current circumstances, something like rest can be coming from a place of intuition saying, hey, you need to rest so you have the energy to do things later. And sometimes it can be coming from a place of anxiety, of just mentally feeling so overwhelmed that you just don't have the capacity to do things, or that the idea of doing things is difficult and you beat yourself up over not doing things. That's something I'm definitely guilty of. And that also leads into when you are getting that nudge that you need to rest, when your body is telling you it's tired and that you've done enough for the day, even if it isn't everything you wanted ideally to get done. Listening to that voice, and listening to that voice without guilt, is super, super important in helping to build this muscle of being able to listen to your intuition when it's there, but B, it also helps you learn to rest and learn that rest is okay. We live in a society and a world where we're told to constantly go, 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 go. And if you're not being productive all the time, you're failing, right? And in reality, that's not how most of us operate. For example, for me, I tend to only have at most a few hours of like full capacity, like middle to high capacity work in me. And, that includes stuff like computer work and listing things up and, social media scheduling. But some days I have a lot of energy for that kind of task, or just little quick impulses. And when I follow those impulses, when I'm in that flow, then it just feels easier to keep it up and to follow those urges when they pop up. So I hope this helped. I hope me sharing my experiences and my stories could give you some little insights into your own, maybe give you some things to think on, and help you recognize what those patterns look like for yourself. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. If you found this helpful, I would love if you could hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to try and answer them if I can. Have a great day.